My name is Daniel Vosotas, and if you run a hotel, manage luxury villas, or host short-term rentals, 2026 is not just another year for you. It's one of those pivotal years where guest expectations, technology, and the way people travel all shift at the same time. The operators who see the shift early and adapt are going to feel a lot more confident and in control over the next few years. And the ones who don't are going to wonder why the same playbook suddenly stopped working. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 hospitality trends for 2026 that I'm seeing across hotels, villas, and short-term rentals worldwide in a way that's practical and grounded in day-to-day operations, not theory. And if you stay with me all the way through, I'll give you a simple way at the end to decide which one or two of these trends you should act on first in your own business. So you finish this video with a clear step, not just more information. Before we dive in, I need to be very clear about what this channel is and what it isn't. This video is for educational purposes only. I don't offer financial advice or investment services. I'm not asking you to invest in anything. I am not making promises about returns, and nothing here should be taken as a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any type of asset. Any reference I make to blockchain tokenization or DeFi are purely informational and always tied back to how hospitality and real estate operations are evolving, not how anyone should manage their personal finances. If you ever need financial or legal advice, please speak to a qualified professional who knows your specific situation. My goal here is simple: to share what I'm seeing in the hospitality world after more than 4 decades in this industry, so you can make better decisions in your own business. I've spent 40 years in hospitality, owning, operating hotels, working with brands like Marriott, Hilton, and Holiday Inn, and more recently, focusing on luxury short-term rentals and villas in international markets. I've seen this industry go through recessions, booms, new distribution channels, and a whole lot of change. But what's happening right now feels different because the changes are happening all at once. Guests are more digital, more mobile, more value conscious, at the same time, more demanding about experience, sustainability, and wellness. Technology has finally caught up to a lot of the ideas we used to talk about as the future. And now it's on our doorstep as a practical tool, not a futuristic concept. Let's start with the first big trend in 2026, which is the shift from technology being an add-on to becoming a core part of how hospitality runs day to day. A few years ago, AI chatbots, digital check-in, and smart room control sounded like nice extras that only big brands or cutting-edge properties could justify. Today, we're at the point where guests actually expect some level of automation and self-service, especially for simple things. They're used to messaging apps and instant answers. They don't want to stand in line to ask what time breakfast starts or to request extra towels. At the same time, your team is under pressure from staffing shortages and rising labor costs. That creates a natural push toward AI-powered tools, automated messaging, tasks, assignment, basic pre-arrival communication, and even predictive maintenance in the background. When this is done right, technology isn't replacing people. It's taking friction out of the simple interactions so your staff can focus on the moments that actually require a human touch, resolving problems, creating surprise and delight experiences, and building real loyalty. If you run a small hotel or a handful of villas, you may be thinking, that's great for the big guys, but I don't have the tech department. The good news is you don't need one. Many of the tools coming into the market are cloud-based, subscription style, and designed for operators who are not tech experts. The key, especially in 2026, is to pick 1 or 2 automation points that will make the biggest difference instead of trying to overhaul everything at once. For example, Maybe your first step is adding a branded guest messaging system that integrates with your property management system so that every question from direction to late checkout flows into one place. Or maybe you start with digital check-in and smart locks in your villas so you're not coordinating key handoffs at odd hours. Over time, you can layer on more housekeeping automation, simple AI assistants that answer routine questions, even basic analytics to show you which questions guests ask most often so you can fix the root causes. The second trend is what I call real personalization, not just putting someone's name in the confirmation email. Guests in 2026 are absolutely flooded with options. Hundreds of hotels in a city, thousands of short-term rentals in a region, and they're starting to gravitate towards stays that feel like they were designed for them. Personalization shows up in little details, knowing whether a guest prefers a firm pillow or a soft one, offering a quiet room to a business traveler by default, having non-alcoholic options ready for someone who doesn't drink, or making sure a family with young kids doesn't end up in a room above a bar. A lot of these doesn't require a huge budget. It requires better use of information you already have and a mindset shift from every guest is the same to every guest has a profile. Technology helps here too. Modern hospitality systems, even simple CRM tools, give you the ability to capture preferences, tag guests, and keep notes that actually get used on the next day. In 2026, the properties that stand out are the ones that connect these dots. That could look like a pre-arrival messaging asking, are you traveling for work, leisure, or both? Are you bringing kids or pets? And then using the answers to shape the stay, from room assignment to local recommendation. For a luxury villa, it could mean pre-stocking the fridge based on short questionnaire, arranging a private chef for the first night, or making sure the workspace is set up properly for a guest who plans to work remote while they're there. When a guest feels seen and taken care of, not just processed, they're far more likely to come back, leave positive reviews, and tell their friends. Trend number 3 is the continued rise and the professionalization of luxury short-term rentals and villas. For a long time, hotels and short-term rentals were treated like two separate universes. Hotels were the professional choice with standards and brand consistency, and short-term rentals were more casual, home-like option that could be hit or miss. That line has blurred dramatically. We now see more professionally managed villas and short-term rentals that deliver hotel-level services, airport transfers, concierge, housekeeping, chef services, and curated experiences, especially in the luxury segment. At the same time, many hotels have started to look more like short-term rentals, offering apartment-style rooms, kitchenettes, flexible layouts, and co-living options. In 2026, travelers at the higher end of the market are often looking for 3 things at once: privacy, space, and reliability. A well-run villa or short-term rental can check all 3 boxes if it's operated with hotel-grade standards. Guests want the feeling of having their own home, their own pool, their own living space, but they also want to know the linens will be spotless, the Wi-Fi will work, and someone will pick up the phone at 11 at night, even if there's a problem. If you're in the villa or short-term rental space, that's your opportunity, treating each property like a micro hotel with clear standards, documented procedures, and a consistent guest journey. If you're in hotels, this trend is a reminder that your competition may not look like another branded hotel down the street. It may be a single, incredible villa on the coast or a cluster of high-end apartments run by a professional operator. There's a regulatory side to this as well. Around the world, we're seeing tighter rules in some urban markets and more interest in expanding tourism to secondary and rural locations. That doesn't mean the short-term rentals story is over. It means we're moving toward a more mature stage where professional operations, compliance, and community impact all matter. Here's as an operator, you want to be on the right side of that evolution. As you think
transparent
about
with
these
rules,
5 trends, ask
respectful of
yourself
neighbors,
3
and
quick
thoughtful
questions
about how your properties
First,
fit into
which
the
trend
broader
is already
destination.
showing up in my
Long
reviews
term,
or guest
that's what will
comments?
separate sustainable operations from
Even
the ones
indirectly.
that get squeezed out.
Second,
The fourth big
which
trend in 2026 is sustainability and wellness have moved from marketing buzzwords to baseline expectations.
Guests increasingly care about how you operate, not just what your property looks like. They're asking questions about energy use, waste, water, and local impact, even if they never say it out loud. At the same time, many travelers are looking for stays that help them feel better, physically and mentally, not just entertain. Wellness tourism isn't just yoga retreats anymore. It's everything from good sleep environments and quiet spaces to healthy food options and access to nature. For hotels, this can start with simple, measurable steps: LED lighting, smart thermostats, better insulation, water-saving fixtures, and thoughtful housekeeping practices that reduce waste without compromising cleanliness. It also means being honest. If you're not a fully eco property, don't pretend to be, but show guests what you are doing and where you're headed. For villas and short-term rentals, sustainability might mean partnering with local suppliers instead of importing everything, installing solar where it makes sense, offering filtered water instead of endless plastic bottles, and designing outdoor spaces that work with the local environment instead of against it. On the wellness side, think about what a guest's body and mind actually go through when they travel. Jet lag, inconsistent sleep, rich food, screen fatigue, and constant stimulation. You don't have to build a full spa to respond. You can start with blackout curtains, comfortable mattress, quiet air conditioning, spaces with natural light, maybe a small corner with yoga mats or a simple stretch guide. For villas, that could include outdoor showers, shaded work areas, or partnerships with local massage therapists, trainers, or guides who can come to the property. The goal is to help people leave feeling better than when they arrived, not more exhausted. Trend number 5 is the deepening of Bleisure and the work from anywhere travel. For years, people talked about combining business and leisure travel, and now it's baked into a lot of people live and work. Remote and hybrid work models mean guests are booking longer stays, working during the day and exploring mornings, evenings, or weekends. For hospitality operators, that changes what a good stay looks like. It's not just a nice bed and a good shower. It's a reliable workspace, serious Wi-Fi, plenty of outlets, and spaces where someone can take a video call without feeling like they're in the middle of a bar. In 2026, many destinations are positioning themselves specifically as hubs for digital nomads or remote workers. For hotels, that might mean transforming certain areas into co-working style lounges, offering weekly or monthly rates with extra like laundry and simple printing, and adjusting your food and beverage to support people who are on property all day instead of away at the office. For villas and short-term rentals, it might mean designing at least one room or corner as a proper workspace, making sure the chairs and the desk heights are comfortable, clearly stating your internet speeds, and offering stay lengths that make sense for remote workers, not just 2-night weekends, but 10-night or 1-month packages. Longer stays also affect how you think about housekeeping, pricing, and community. Guests staying for 2 or 3 weeks often want different level of integration with the local area. They may be more interested in grocery stores, gyms, co-working spaces, and schools than museums and tours. If you understand that you're building it into your communication, your pre-arrival emails, your digital guidebooks, or your front desk conversations, you can turn your property into a base for people's real lives, not just a break from them. Underneath all of these 5 trends, automation, personalization, professional villas, sustainability and wellness, and work from anywhere travel, there's a common thread. The industry is becoming more data-driven and more connected. That's where some of the newer technology like blockchain and tokenization quietly sits in the background. You don't have to be a crypto person to benefit from better digital infrastructure. Over time, we're going to see more secure ways to manage guest identity, loyalty, and bookings. More transparent ways to see where your money is going in the operational stack. And maybe even new forms of digital credits or loyalty points that guests can earn and use across different types of stays. When I talk about those tools, it's always in the context of operations, how they might simplify reconciliations, reduce fraud, or make it easier to reward your best guests, not as something to speculate on. So, what do you actually do with all this if you're watching and feeling a little overwhelmed? The first step is to be honest about where you are. You don't have to implement every trend tomorrow. Maybe your biggest pain right now is staff time at the front desk. And in that case, starting with a good guest messaging platform and a clear pre-arrival communication could change your life. Maybe your reviews mention that guests love your staff but wish the property felt more up to date. That might be your signal to focus on small touches of personalization and sustainability that guests can see and feel. If your occupancy is solid on weekends but soft midweek, maybe you experiment with remote worker-friendly packages that include faster Wi-Fi, workspaces, and a slightly different housekeeping cadence. Here's the simple filter I promised you at the beginning. As you think about these 5 trends, ask yourself 3 quick questions. First, which trend is already showing up in my reviews or guest comments, even indirectly? Second, which trend, if I made a small move in the next 30 days, would my guest actually notice and appreciate? And third, which trend would genuinely make life easier for my team, not just add another task? The trends that check all 3 boxes is usually the one you should start with. You don't need a 15-page strategy plan. You need 1 or 2 concrete changes tested over the next quarter that move you closer to where the industry is clearly going. So let me repeat the disclaimer before we wrap up because it matters. Everything I'm sharing here is based on my experience in hospitality and on what I'm seeing across the industry right now. This video is for educational purposes only. I don't offer financial advice or investment services. Any mention of blockchain tokenization or other technologies is purely informational and strictly related to how hospitality, real estate operations are evolving. If you have financial, tax, or legal questions, please speak to a licensed professional who understands your specific situation. If this breakdown of the top hospitality trends for 2026 helped you see your business a little more clearly, feel free to stay on the channel and check out some of the other educational videos here. I'll keep sharing what I'm seeing in hotels, luxury villas, and short-term rentals, and how operators can navigate this next chapter in a way that's sustainable, guest-focused, and grounded in reality. Thanks for watching. I'm Daniel Vosotas, and I'll see you in the next video.